Alrighty, well, thank you guys for joining here. I appreciate it. Again, I like to do everything pretty interactive and take questions on the fly. If I don't know, I'll get back to you with any answers that you might have for questions. So to hop in, this should be a pretty short webinar today where we're going to talk about the Followup CRM and Vista integration, Vista Viewpoint. So to dive right in, what I'd like to do is to give us an overview of what the integration looks like, first at a process level, and then I'll show you how it works in real life. So here, our second slide here is how it works. Okay, so here's an example of an integration flow that you might see at a typical customer, whether it's Followup to Vista or Vista to Followup. The integration can work both ways, but this is probably the most common example of how this would work. So Followup CRM obviously is all about sales, business development, customer management, and really winning new work. So pipeline management, following up with your contracts, sending out proposals, doing qualifications on your leads and your bids. And so typically here, lead comes into the business, you enter into Followup, you assign it to a sales guy or an estimator, and then you're evaluating whether it's a good fit or not. Then you might do a takeoff or estimate or proposal of some kind that you would develop, either in a separate estimating tool or within Followup itself through our proposal generator. And then from there, as you guys know, some jobs, if it's like a service job, for example, might close right there on the spot. Other jobs like large commercial jobs or new construction jobs might take another, 6 to 18 months to close. So following up with those customers is really important to build the relationship with them. So from there, once the job is closed, that's where the integration with Viewpoint Vista comes into play. And in this, you're pushing your basic follow-up information like contract name, your contact, your address, your pricing information from Followup into Vista. Okay, so from there, you would do your accounting, your job costing, and then also your project management, so that you can deliver on that contract, right? So to summarize this, it would be Followup helps you get the work, and then Viewpoint Vista helps you do the work and do your accounting side. The other way that customers might integrate Followup, I'll just kind of say this off the cuff here, is from Vista back to Followup. So a lot of people might do their service opportunities in Vista first, and then they still want to track the revenue from that service opportunity back into Followup so they can get a full picture of the revenue from a customer, right? So you can track all your service projects. But either way, it's a two-way sync, and that's what our next slide here is all about. Just so you can kind of see an overview of the different fields, triggers, and actions. So just to go over what this looks like, an integration has these three components: the field, a trigger, an action. So a field is just your data point, like your address or status. A trigger is creating, updating, deleting, things like that. So, and then an action is similar to a trigger, just on the other system. So create, update, delete, etc. Right? So from here, we can do that in Vista, either from Followup to Vista or Vista to Followup. And the way we facilitate this is actually through a partner company of ours previously called Rivet. They were actually just purchased by Viewpoint and their family Trimble of products, and they relabeled it App Exchange. So that's an overview of the integration from a process level. And then here I have the data exchange from the Viewpoint Trimble website so that we can see here we're in their app store so that you can get an overview of that. And let me click here on our page. We also do Sage 100. But if you're here today, you're interested in Vista or the service management product of Vista as well. So basically what I just showed you in our graphical format, this is the same thing here where you can see, projects, companies and contacts, bi-directional feature, where new companies and follow-up can go to AR customers in Viewpoint Vista. So any questions here in the chat? Doesn't seem like it. So let's see it in action. And we'll see here that we created a new project for this webinar called Testing Webinar. And so what you would do is you would enter in this new project information right here. Different data points that would be required, like, the department, and then also right here, the customer that you're bidding to. Once that necessary information is entered in, then once this flow in particular is triggered, once the sales status is entered in as a contract. So for example, let's say I entered this opportunity in and I just did a new lead and saved it. It would not go over into Vista. Why? Because we haven't had the contract signed. There's no reason to clutter Vista with that data of a new opportunity, right? And it's just not time to execute on the job costing and on the project. But once the salesperson or estimator updates this sales status to a contract and saves that opportunity, you save that opportunity. And then from there, this is the trigger event that we discussed that pushes that information over into Vista. Okay, so that's it. That's how the integration workflows works. And then here I have our testing Vista environment that I'll just pull up over here. Can we see that testing environment there? Let me know in the chat if you guys can see this, because I know I pulled up another screen. Okay, thanks, Ruth. Okay, so here we have Vista pulled up, and then we have JC Jobs. So for our job costing, you can open up this job costing field. And then what we're going to do here is just search for that project we entered in. So here you can see testing webinar. There's that project that we just entered. And there you go. So that came straight from Followup. We do that connection through Rivet at the database level. And that's how the integration works. So that's an example of how a job flows over. But like we discussed as well, we can also do AR customers, accounts receivable customers as well.